do you think? Do you think more states need to consider taking that kind of drastic action and the kind of drastic action we saw when the pandemic first began, or can there be a more nuanced approach?
Hey, come quick, the computer guy is talking. We need to hear this.
Well, certainly mask wearing has essentially no downside. They're not expensive. Bars and restaurants in most of the country will be closed as we go into this wave. And I think, sadly, that's appropriate.
You know, I have a confession. I had a convicting moment this morning because as I was looking forward towards the Christmas season, looking forward to spending time with family, I was also looking forward to not thinking about any of this, just keeping it out of the back of my mind and just being blissfully ignorant, really, escaping. But I'm not going to be able to escape by celebrating the holiday that commemorates the coming of the Savior of humanity, because the only thing that points more to the Savior of humanity than himself is looking at this world, looking at everything that's going on, and we are in shambles here. The news will tell you we're in shambles because everybody is so overwhelmingly sick and dying, and I just want to be explicit. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the measures that are being taken regarding all of this COVID-19 adequately measure up to what's necessary.
And we're banned off of United Forever because a 2-year-old would not put on a mask.
Musa Favani. Okay, ako yung para sa tanto. Musa Favani? So I'm gonna have to grab the belongings and let's go. We gotta be getting Musa. Why? We're over here holding this mask on her face. I'm sorry, sir. I gave you another opportunity. I took that opportunity and I ran with it. You see this? I'm literally covering her face. I gotta keep it up.
But besides talking about all the other specific things, I mean, we're looking at our country, and our country has been overpowered by power-grabbing, wealthy, information-controlling oligarchs. Our media, I don't think there's anybody in this country that can't say our media is not biased, but no one seems to really care. Do you not understand that a biased media influences the culture? In a time with this pandemic where people are going crazy regarding how we should respond to the pandemic, and this is a direct result because our media is just pouring into us misinformation, either misinformation or sensationalization. They've sensationalized a lot of this. And you think that people who say this stuff are just like nut jobs and they just, I don't know, we just want to go against the status quo. No. This stuff is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How come in the midst of this pandemic where so much despair is present, so much death is present, good news would be a coveted thing? We would want some good news, but the media refuses to share any good news. The only good news is that, hey, there's a vaccine coming, you better take it. Then there is no good news that, hey, there's a survival rate of over 99%. You don't see that flooding our airwaves. Only the bad news floods our airwaves so that we can look at each other as potential threats, we can stay away from one another, and we can be shutting down businesses. People are losing their livelihoods over all of this. We are so backwards today. We're so backwards today. People who are saying things like, hey, there's medicine that helps this way, or hey, this is what the numbers say about this stuff. And we don't value that information. But when it comes down to freedom, there seems to be a narrative that perpetuates the hatred of freedom. And then they do this in the name of freedom, utilizing the First Amendment, where that's under attack also. But you don't hear anything about that. We're not talking about it. The media won't talk about it. We have the geek squad that's been militarized and is now censoring us. We don't care. But what we do care about is fighting for the right to kill children. That's where we are in our country. And I'll just end with this. I'm genuinely sick of how silent the Christian voice is in this country. It's sickening. It's angering to me. We're looking out in the world and we say, look, not my problem. Meanwhile, you are the ones who should be walking toward death with a smile. It has no sting. And so if you have preachers who are outspoken about these things, they're seen as radical because our legacy isn't a legacy built on death, apparently. It's not a legacy built on destruction, apparently. It's a legacy built on comfort and silence and cowardice. People's livelihoods are being stolen from them, and we're celebrating the ones doing the stealing.